Hi everyone, my name is Mijanu. You can call me Miha or Ikoshun, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. I love all things art, whether it's movies, music, books, and I love sharing that with other people. So today I have a bundled up package full of art just for you. Since this is my first art package for you, it's more generalized, meaning there's no specific theme that I'm going for. Maybe in the future I'll make one that is maybe fall themed or themed about a certain subject, but for now I'm just sharing the pieces of art that really resonated with me, and hopefully they do the same for you. For each section there will be a few pieces of art curated just for you, so it's up to you if you want to dive into them or not. With that said, I hope you enjoy. The first film in your art package is All About My Mother, directed by Pedro Almodovar. All About My Mother is womanhood, community, and the deepest, most truest parts of femininity all wrapped in one. I really connected with this film due to how real it felt, and get used to me saying that with a lot of the things in this package, because I really enjoy films that feel realistic, and it doesn't have to be realistic situations, but more so of how people deal with those situations or their reactions to it. Every woman in this film is trying to figure out something, whether it be dealing with their grief, their own femininity, becoming a mother, disease, and I really enjoy how this film showcased all of those characters to the best of its ability. It showed realism in that not everything is going to be rainbows and butterflies, but there's always those small moments where you can truly be yourself. Every woman is made differently and carries different versions of femininity that resides true to them, but those different versions may be tainted by society, and it may become difficult to find that most authentic version of that identity, and oftentimes trying to get to that most authentic version could take your entire lifetime. But at the end of the day, time will still pass. My favorite quote from the film is, "It costs a lot to be authentic, ma'am, and one can't be stingy with these things because you are more authentic the more you resemble what you've dreamed of being." The next film is Watermelon Woman, directed by Cheryl Dune, and it's about a Black queer woman who works at a film shop, and you get to go with her as she's creating a documentary based off of an actress known as the Watermelon Woman. And I really like this film because it goes back and forth between the footage that she takes for the project and then the actual film that you're watching, where she's going through her day-to-day, her dating life, her time working at the video rental place that she works at, dealing with her best friend, or I don't know if that's her best friend. I can go on about the supporting character in this film, but that's not the point. Apparently, the director, who also plays the main character in the film, she said she was inspired when she was working on her own documentary, and you can really see that it's true to her own experience of working on it, and you can see those genuine moments, and it feels very real, so I really liked this film. This film is very funny, relatable, and quite inspiring for someone who relates to her character. The next film is Gossip, directed by Davis Guggenheim, and I love this movie purely because of the aesthetic. It gives Gen X soft club vibes, which is like early 2000s, but not the Paris Hilton Juicy Couture type of early 2000s, but the martini sipping, living in a huge artistic loft, kind of grimy, everyone's smoking everywhere, and you're just at the club with a cute little bob and a tight dress and listening to trip hop music. That's the 2000s aesthetic that I like. And this is it packaged up all in one. Like, oh my gosh. And thankfully I like the plot too. The plot's good too. So yeah, basically this film is about a couple of college students who get assigned a project on gossip. So they decide that for their project, they're gonna spread a rumor. And that rumor just takes a life of its own, and there's so many plot twists and turns, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect this to happen, and Norman Reedus is in it, and it's amazing. Also, the main character, the actress, Lena Headey, I think that's how you say it, she's so beautiful in this film. But yeah, go watch this. I like it a lot, and I hope you do too. The next film is It's Such a Beautiful Day, directed by Dawn Hertzfeldt. It's Such a Beautiful Day is a film that I connected with in high school, so I was about 16 or 17 when I first watched it. The film's only an hour long, and its animation is very simple, but so gorgeous and beautiful. Like the simple animation fits the film so well, in my opinion. The film tells a story about a man named Bill who has a mental illness that's making it harder and harder for him to distinguish his memories from reality. And to me, this film feels like the in-between of two worlds. Like, it's the type of film that when you're done watching it, you stare at the wall and think about your life, what's in it, what's not in it, your reality, and what you truly value at the end of the day. You begin to see things differently, you begin to see yourself differently, and you conceptualize the fact that this life is all we have. The small moments are the moments that truly matter. Who cares what anyone thinks? Who cares what I think? Why am I even here? What is here? How do I communicate this feeling with someone else? And the next day you're at work taking someone's order and you're still thinking about the film and you're like, this life doesn't even feel real anymore. You just want to lay down in a field and watch the clouds slowly pass by until a bug crawls on your leg and ruins the vibe. At the end of the day, life is incredibly short. Take the time to notice everything around you and how beautiful it can be. Look into the eyes of a stranger for a moment and think, wow, this person has their own life and has trauma and happiness and sadness just like me. So I'm going to be kind to them. And I'm going to give my friend a hug. I'm going to give my dog a hug. Probably going to give the dog that I see every day a hug as well. I'm going to give myself a hug because I appreciate my body and everything it's helped me go through physically and mentally. And I'm going to treat it with love and kindness the same way I treated that stranger earlier. I'm going to stop here because I can keep going with this film. Like, it's such a beautiful film and it just makes you think a lot. And if you like films that are deep and think a lot, then this is the perfect one for you. The next film is Pinocchio, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And this film is a work of art. This is cinema. I am someone who absolutely loves stop motion. I love anything and everything stop motion. I think stop motion is such a beautiful craft because of how much hard work and dedication and time you have to put into it. And I think it's just so rewarding seeing everything play back after all of that hard work. I personally only know Pinocchio from Kingdom Hearts. That was my video game growing up. It's my favorite video game of all time. And that game showed me so many Disney movies that I still haven't watched to this day. I still haven't seen like the Disney Pinocchio, but I know about it because of Kingdom Hearts. And this is like the only Pinocchio movie I've seen. So I can't say if this is accurate to it or not, but I will say this is amazing. This is an amazing interpretation if it's not like the original Disney movie. And most likely it's not, because like they talk about fascism in here and I don't think Disney does that. But I didn't know going into this that it would be so heartbreaking. It's very beautiful and heartbreaking, and at the end of the movie, I was sobbing. This is another movie kind of like It's Such a Beautiful Day where you just think about your life afterwards, and if you can see a little pattern, I like movies that make me think about life and just keep me in reality. Like, these moments are all we have. For the music section in this art package, I wanted to share with you a variety of different genres to show you just how expansive music can be. And if you're someone that is trying to get more into music, then you can take one of these albums and just go from there. Like, go listen to that album, see what music is related to that. Like, look on Reddit, any music that is like this, and then you'll just keep finding more and more artists and eventually find that artist or that album that really moves your heart. The first album I'm going to talk about is Care For Me by Saba. Care For Me is an album about the passing of Saba's cousin, who unfortunately passed during a street altercation in Chicago. The album focuses on Saba's grief and his psyche throughout that experience, and although it is a darker album, it resonated with me due to how lyrically and personal it is. The music is filled with blends of jazz and hip-hop, and his lyrics bring a whole world of visual storytelling to it, which helps you really connect with the music and his story a lot better. Saba is an incredibly talented rapper, and I just think that even though some songs aren't on here due to me being more connected with these more than others, every single song on here is a 5 out of 5 to me. This instrumental album by the band Toe, it has been an album that I've listened to since junior year of high school. The title, The Book About My Idle Plot on a Vague Anxiety, is what reeled me in, because I was like, whoa, I like to write. I want to write a book one day. I have anxiety. let me check this album out. But I'm really happy that I checked it out because this album is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Every single song on here I simply adore, and I just had to make sure that I put it out there to anyone who's watching this. I love this album, and I think that you should listen to it as well. This album was released in 2005, and it feels like sitting in the passenger seat of a car at around 8:30 p.m. in later July, early August. The sun's going down, the skies are a dark blue, street lights are passing you by as the car drives down a random side street. The windows are open, and you feel a humid yet nerve-soothing wind fall through onto your face and through your hair. And in that moment, with this album playing, you feel alive. You know what life feels like, and it feels like this. I don't know why I was about to say, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. I went to Japan in 2016 by myself, and while I was at my mom's friend's house, she had the TV playing, and I was just doodling, and I heard one song play on a commercial. It was Past in Language by Toe, which is on the album, and when I heard it play, I looked up at the TV and I was so shocked. Even though it's a Japanese band, I was in Japan watching a Japanese commercial, so I shouldn't have been surprised. But I think I was surprised because that wouldn't really happen in America. Like, I would not expect to hear Toe playing on a commercial, but I did in Japan, and that memory is stamped in my brain, and I feel like that made me like the song 10 times more because of that memory. Definitely check this album out, please. Meaningful Stone is probably my favorite Korean band right now. Them and Saesoneon. They're probably my two favorite Korean bands right now. But with Meaningful Stone, each album, Jimin brings something new to the table each time. And I think that's very inspiring because I'm someone who unfortunately put myself into a box with my own art, which led to burnout. And I feel like artists who make it known that it's okay to branch out and be open with art, like art doesn't have to be one singular thing. If you're an artist, you take inspiration from so much and you want to create so much, and it doesn't have to stick to one medium or genre. And with Meaningful Stone, I love how each album is still Meaningful Stone, but it's still grasping other genres at the same time. This album, A Call From My Dream, is Meaningful Stone's debut album, and it was released in 2020, and dare I say, it was a fantastic debut album. Absolutely wonderful. Very beautiful. It's the definition of dream pop to me. The song Ah feels like going to the beach for the first time with your best friend. Small Death, which is my favorite song off the album, reminds me of fall. It makes me think of leaves falling into puddles made from yesterday's rain. Nameless makes me think of Avril Lavigne in 2002 for some reason, but also frolicking in a Bridge to Terabithia type forest. And overall, this album is just such a treat. It's candy that's sweet but won't raise your blood sugar levels. Kiss Facility is a group with Sega Bodega and singer Maya Al-Khatery. Hopefully I said her last name right, Al-Khatery. And when I say the first time I heard this EP, I almost cried in joy. If you watched the film portion of this art package, I mentioned that I really like the Gen X soft club aesthetic, and I feel like Kiss Facility's music is the definition of that aesthetic to me. And I don't know why, but music like Kiss Facility, Erica de Cassier, Poison Girlfriend, FKA Twigs, Earth Eater, that type of music just really sits with me. That's the type of music that really like fills my soul, and I just connect with it, and I really enjoy it. Sometimes it makes me feel like I want to be sucked up into a computer and soak up whatever that aesthetic is. And I'm using the word aesthetic because I don't know how to describe what I mean, but like the style and the genre of just, not just like the music, but the fashion and all of that. Like I don't know how to describe it exactly, but I just really love it. And it's weird, but Esoteric by Kiss Facility fills that need for me when I listen to that EP. It's a combination of shoegaze, trip hop, alt rock, and so many other genres. I think that the singer's voice was made for this type of music. Like I feel like she was made to sing these songs, and I think it's just beautiful. My favorite song from the album is Prayer at the Dinner Table. Prayer at the Dinner Table is my third favorite song of all time, and I'm thinking of doing a little video on my top 100 songs, but we'll see. But yeah, I think this is a great EP and you should definitely check it out. Remember when I was talking about A Call from My Dream being sweet but not enough to raise your blood sugar? Well, this album will raise your blood sugar. When I listened to this album for the first time, it made me think, this makes me want to take ecstasy, throw on old Cartoon Network, and paint every single wall in my apartment with a skateboard. This is my little warning for the album. Before you listen to this, genuinely, make sure that you're in a good mood and that you're open and you're ready for noise. Because sometimes when you listen to an album when you're not prepared for it mentally, it will be irritating, you're not in the mood for it, and you rate it low or say that it's not a good album just because you weren't in the right state of mind to listen to it. So before you listen to this album in particular, make sure you have enough time in your day, you're willing to listen to something new, and you are someone that likes or are okay with a lot of noise. But this album, it's called Plustek Squeezebox by Cartoon, feels literally like you're being thrown into a Cartoon Network show. It feels like Dexter's Laboratory, Bill and Mandy's, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, all combined into one. Even if you do take my warning, it's still not going to prepare for you for how all over this place, how all over the place this record is. It feels like it feels like they hit every single genre you can think of in this album. Like they go from rock to electric or electronic to country to hip-hop. Like they hit every genre and it fits so well with the theme of the album, and I just think this was a really great find. I think I listened to it last year for the first time, and I really like it, and I feel like I should definitely recommend this to people to spice up your music listening, you know? Like this album really feels like watching Cartoon Network, and everything you saw visually gets interpreted into audio. And it feels like you're throwing up a rainbow while doing 8 backflips. Sunkissed by Guitar Michael Luckner is another album that tickles my Gen X Soft Club fancy. But for this one, I don't know where I mentioned it, but I said that I think during Kiss Facility, it made me want to go into a computer and become an aesthetic. But this album makes me feel like I am in a computer and I'm going through the database trying to find a place to call home. One day, when I get better at drawing, I will be able to make a visual interpretation of what I mean. But this is as much as I can say, and I can give you these albums, so hopefully you can see what I mean. But yeah, I really like this album. I think it keeps you on your toes, and I love albums that you'll listen to, and the more you listen to it, the more you find different songs that end up your favorite. Like this song is my favorite for this month. Next month, this song ended up being a favorite, and you just collectively start to enjoy all of the songs more and more and more. My favorite from the album is CC Being Me, and I really liked it because it's one of those songs where you find something new that you haven't heard before. Like I listened to this song a billion times, and then one time in my car, I was really listening to it and I was like, oh, I didn't even hear this instrument or this reverse sound going on. And it just made the song 10 times better to me. I decided to take my hair down for the next 2 sections, but because I recently started up my reading journey again, I don't have that many books to recommend at the moment, but I am working towards reading more books, and when I read more, I'll have more to recommend to you. The first book that I'm recommending today is Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri. This is a short story collection about different Indian Americans just living their day-to-day. There's 8 stories in this book and it's 333 pages. Some of the stories were just okay to me. Some of them really stood out. And I think it was really cool how she has 2 sections in this book. The first section is just random short stories that have no correlation with one another. And then the second section is actually all of the short stories connect with one another. And I thought it was cool that while I was reading it, I didn't realize that they were connected, and I started seeing names pop up here and there, and I was like, wait a second, is this the guy from the last story? No, it couldn't be because they're not connected. And I was like, wait a second, it is. But yeah, I really love Jhumpa Lahiri's writing. This is my third book from her. I started reading her books from The Namesake. I watched the movie for that. I really liked the movie, found out that it was a book, and then read the book. Then read her other book called Interpreter of Maladies, which is another short story collection. And then after that, I read this one. And all of her books make me feel like I'm a fly on the wall, just analyzing people's lives and knowing so much detail from them, but at the same time knowing that I will never see these people again. But even so, my short time with them has really impacted my life. The way that she writes is brilliant in my opinion. It's very detailed, but not to the point where it's overbearing or a bit too much information. And sometimes I feel like I don't have enough information from these people, but that's because I'm a fly on the wall. Like, I'm not that person, so I'm not gonna know every single thing. And I just think that her writing is very beautiful. My favorite stories are in here are, the second half is the Hema and Kaushik collection. I really liked Only Goodness, which is about a sister who unintentionally gives her little brother a head start into becoming an alcoholic. And Nobody's Business, which is about a man who has a crush on one of his roommates and is pretty timid but secretly watches the downfall of his crush's relationship. And apparently they're making a Netflix series out of this. I finished reading the book, and every time I finish reading or watching something, I look it up. And apparently they're making a Netflix show, and that's pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out. The next book is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. This is a very short book. It's only 270 pages, and it's about this village or this island where there's a group called the Memory Police that just decides, okay, books are banned right now, or roses are banned, and everyone in the island, they'll wake up one day and feel like something's missing. They can't recall what's missing until they realize, oh, birds are banned, roses are banned. And so everyone has to get rid of those things, and eventually people forget what those things are. But there are some people who don't want to forget and will try to hide those things or try to make sure that they remember. And this book is not about the plot at all. It's a dystopian novel, but it's not really about why the police are doing what they're doing or is there a solution to the problem. It's about how these people deal with the problem in their everyday lives. In particular, the woman here who tends to forget everything just like everyone else. She's just a normal everyday person, and you just see the slow downfall of the society, and there's no rhyme or reason to the book. I can see why people don't like it, but I really liked that it focused on the small details more so than the actual plot. And if you like something like that, then I recommend this to you. And the last book I'll be talking about is Beloved by Toni Morrison. When I started reading this book, I had to restart it like 6 times. This was probably the first book that I had difficulty reading, and I looked it up. I was like, why am I having such a hard time reading this book? Like, I feel really dumb. But apparently reading novels like this, or just classic novels in general, it's just like going to the gym. You're training your brain and your muscles with the style of writing, essentially. And the more you read books like this, the more or the easier it gets to really see in between the words and understand what the author is trying to convey. And thankfully I got through it, and I was really happy that I got through it. And I watched a video talking about, like, summarizing all of the chapters, and I was really happy to see that everything that I read correlated with the summarization. And I was like, oh, I was able to understand the book. Like, there was a few moments where I didn't, but overall I got through it and was really happy with it. This book is scary, by the way, not because of the plot exactly, which is, it's about a lady who lives with her daughter in a house that is haunted by the ghost of her baby. Later on, a man that the main character knows moves into the house as well, and we get different perspectives on the mom, the daughter, and the man, not only with them dealing with their trauma from slavery, but the trauma they're dealing with the ghost of the baby girl, and eventually the baby girl becomes an actual physical being and they have to deal with the trauma that she brings as well. And this book is a horror to me, not because of ghosts and spirits, but because of the horrific turmoil the characters and my ancestors just had to go through during this time. There's so many untold accounts from slavery that we will never know about because people can change scripts, people can rewrite things, people can burn books and documents, and things weren't recorded as much as they are today. And there's just so many horrors from back then that we probably will never know of because of that. And that just reading a book like this just puts that into perspective for me, and it's very scary. As I was reading this book, I had to I was getting chills, and I had to make sure I was only reading it during the daytime. And I think they made a movie on this book, but I heard the movie wasn't that great. Maybe I'll still check it out, but for now, I recommend you reading the book. I'm so sorry if the audio is all over the place for this first art package. I was recording with my voice memo, and then I thought I hit play, and then I didn't, and then I was recording again, and I looked down and I was recording with the video on my phone and not the voice memo. So I'm gonna chop it up. Hopefully it sounds good. But this last section of the package, I wanted to highlight some wonderful artists that I think make beautiful art, and I think the entire world needs to see and support their art. Not only because they're so talented, but because AI is becoming so rampant these days, and we need to support real artists that put in hard work and dedication into their craft. The first artist is Green Povo. Green Povo's art feels like a comforting loneliness of blissfully traversing the world while slightly yearning for another person's company. I love that the main color scheme for a lot of their work is with different shades of green. Green is my favorite color of all time, and because it's a grounding color, I think that's what makes a lot of their work feel comforting, even though there is a sense of loneliness to it. I love the haziness to the art as well, which makes it sort of something you'd only experience within a dream. This next artist I've followed for quite a while now. Filuri Four's art has a similar vibe to Green Povo's art in a sense of that being dreamlike, but instead of it being something you'd experience in a dream, it represents to me more of looking back at the haziness of your memories. It feels like what memories would look like as you're trying to piece the small moments back together. But of course, a lot of the time our memory can only do so much, and we end up filling those gaps with moments that possibly never even happened. It's just how we interpreted it happened, which could be different from person to person. I love the use of gray and blue in their work, and how every piece feels cold and isolated, like you're in the middle of winter and are desperately in need of a coat or a small fire to warm up. I love the visible textures in their work and how it looks as if I could feel the image just by looking at it. Bean0887's art is so cool to me. Their use of Microsoft Paint in a lot of their pieces and the amount of detail in each art piece just blows my mind. This is not in a bad way at all, but their work has an amateur feel to it, where it seems like anyone could create these pieces when in reality, so much detail was put into it to make it seem that way. I love how in every piece the backgrounds are all used in specific ways and no space is wasted, whether it's up close on someone's eye or textures in the background that elevate the main focal part of the art. They're very, very, very talented in my opinion. Fox111 Nico's art is so beautiful to me. It's soft and hazy and makes me think of a soft breeze in springtime that says hello to all flowers in bloom that season. I love the use of swirls in almost every piece, and the focal point a lot of times being on different types of animals living in Fox's beautifully crafted universe. I'm not sure if the pieces were made digitally or traditionally first and then scanned to be drawn over digitally, but I love the subtle pastel colors marks on the art. It could have been done with a specific digital brush, but either way it adds onto the art and is so, so beautiful to me. Hagushka's art to me is like no others. The amount of detail in every single piece blows my mind. The use of line work and the very specific color schemes, I could stare at each of these pieces for hours and still find details that I didn't see beforehand. It's so beautiful and unique and seems like art that would be in a comic book or a webtoon. There's a webtoon that has a similar vibe to this. It's called Distant Sky, and I think it came out around 2013 or 2014. And I think both the webtoon and Hagushka's art utilizes line work a lot, which makes it similar to me. And I just think it just adds so much detail to their art, and it's just so good. It's just so good. The last artist I'm mentioning is actually a photographer, Wrapped Neil's photography is very inspiring. The fact that they use different textures surrounding them and shooting within those textures with different shutter speeds, at least that's what it looks like to me. I'm not exactly sure how they shoot, but if I were to guess, it would be something within that ballpark. Their work is filled with a lot of depth and shadows and sporadic colors and sort of wet textures that leads the eye all over the place, which makes it very visually appealing to me. I hope some of these recommendations stuck with you, and if you do decide to indulge into any of them, please let me know in the comments below and just let me know what you think about them. But thank you for opening this art package. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to share another one with you in the future. Until next time.